Alrighty, so I just finished grading week 5 Learn Together, and I'm looking forward, meaning reviewing, thinking about the week 6. Now, hopefully you all got the email I sent out this week actually on Tuesday regarding the sign up process. And I know many of you did because the sign up process is pretty much full, right? So if you didn't get that email, you need to reach out to me because I sent it out on Tuesday and it gave a video link and a sign up link. So if for some reason your Canvas messages are sent off somewhere, make sure you get on that. Now, I was looking at it this morning, and just to be clear, right, here's the signups. And you can see that all the slots for before the due date of having to submit your Dev Zero are full. Now, this doesn't mean you can't see me. This just means you and I have to figure out what that looks like for next week. The thing I will tell you is that the more heads up you give me, the more I can work it out. I typically have family stuff in the evening, but sometimes I don't, and I can work that out. But asking me the day of, you're probably not going to get the answer you want. Asking me 24 hours before you want to meet with me, again, if it doesn't meet in the schedule, it's probably easier because I can kind of rearrange things as they come up. So I just want you to know that. The other thing about this is, and I said it in the video, so I reiterate, the reason you want to see me, and I like that some people signed up for assistance, some people signed up for review, right? You can change code. Now and I do notice some people signed up at the very last place you can do reviews after the due date. Do know you still have to turn it in by next Thursday night at midnight, really when I wake up Friday. Okay, just to be clear about that. If you have any questions, now would be a great time to ask me. We are on a campus holiday today. Now, obviously, I'm working, just trying to get the videos done, but I'll be out most of the afternoon and the rest of the weekend and be back on Tuesday. This is why we have Discord, okay? So hopefully you're using it. I still see some good posts out there. If you have a hesitation about Discord, know that trying to work on why you feel uncomfortable, right, is something totally understandable, and working on it is a good thing to do. All right, so looking at last night's work, right, here's a couple things I want to say. And you'll see this from here on out in this course, is if I see code that is identical to code that's already been submitted by another student, I will mark off for that because that's not the intent of a Learn Together. If you're going to look, and I've been saying this, and I know this is a really hard concept maybe, if you're going to look at somebody else's code, be willing to really study it enough to be able to write your own understanding of that. And when I see the exact words, the exact code, I'm going to mark off for that, and you'll hear me in your reply go, this looks like somebody else's code. Now, I've said you can say that you looked at somebody else's code, but using somebody else's code is not the intent. Okay? So just know from here on out, I've been a little more understanding at the beginning, but now that we're coming into our first dev, it gets more and more. It's always been important, but it gets more and more important as we move forward, that you're really writing code. And I can generally always tell when I read it if you've written it yourself, okay? And when you come in for the dev next week, that's when I really have a clear understanding of your ability to first code something and talk about it. The one thing I want to say about the dev, now that I'm talking about it, I'm glad I remembered this, is that your code needs to go in your private repo. And when you're doing your code review, you're going to share your screen and you're going to bring up that file, which is why I've been emphasizing opening up the index file, either just by opening the file or running live server. So one of those. And it may be a little confusing because we've been using the Git hack out on the public repos. Those Git hack links won't work when you're in the private repo, and that's not the intent of the dev. So just know that and I said in the requirements, I just looked that, and you need to create a dev folder up in your public, and then dev_0 for our first one is where your code should go. Okay, so that I've talked about that. Oh yeah, so here's my thing I want to ask you about. I looked at your Learn Together work, of course, and I looked, and I don't know if this is confusing for you. I do a video showing how to go over the work, and then sometimes the first post, sometimes not, I do a video that goes over just my example. I'm noticing that it's getting almost no views. I think one view got done from last night's work. And here's my question, right? Are those not helpful? And I'm guessing they're not. Either that, or I'm guessing you're so focused on getting your own work done that you either just don't have time to look at those. And so maybe it's too much content. Maybe you can give me some feedback here, whether you would want me to continue to do that. Because my hope was that you would attempt to write the code on your own. You would post your link. You would look at some other people, including mine. And then hopefully, if you wanted some more, you could actually go look at the video that I covered my code example. But maybe that's too much. Maybe that's too much for a Learn Together night. And so let me know if you'd like me to continue with those. Okay. Okay. I've done that next week. Okay. So just to kind of, we've been talking about it, but next week is the week. We're into our dev week. We're here, but we still have a code along. So we're finishing up the array methods, are just different ways of searching, filtering, sorting, improving. And this is really, I like his expense tracker. And just here's what I want you to know is that for your own code, you can use methods, which are functions inside of objects, or you can just use regular functions. You're not required. You do need to implement arrays and objects somehow in your code, but I'm not making you actually use that structure of including functions in objects. It's really up to you how you want to do it. So just know that I don't have a hard requirement for that. But the other thing I want to say, and I'm going to put this as a link to mine. There's WebDev Simplified has got a really nice channel, and he goes over some of the array methods, because methods that aren't covered in our course, some that are, where he talks about filter, and then he talks about map, which was not covered in ours. I did reduce in my example of my charging. My car charging costs, I use reduce to actually do a much simpler, but a single line reduce, and that's an array method. So it's good to venture out and use different methods if you find that what you're trying to accomplish isn't accomplished through something like filter or the search method that he shows. So I'm going to put this as a second video if you want to check this out. I recommend it. It's about 10 minutes. And I think it just also gives a good understanding. He's very clear about how to use some of these array methods. Okay, fun week we're coming into. I look forward to connecting with as many of you that come see me next week or again the week after. If you have any questions about how dev works, now's the time to ask. Again, Discord is a great way. I'll be back on Tuesday. Have a great Valentine's if you have Valentine's plans. Let me see here. I was looking for this, right? So I think that's it. All right. Peace out.